Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday morning. Hope everybody is awake. You're doing okay. You got your coffee like I've got mine. Good morning. Rainy is still not awake. She is, well, if she is, she's not up. And she's not over there. I wouldn't be so loud. She is upstairs right now. So maybe we'll see some rainy sign today. Maybe we won't. But as it is, you got me. So welcome everybody. Hope your weekend is going well. And uh, what do I have to say about that? Nothing really. So let's just forge ahead. What's everybody up to? Good to see you all. I see Sandra Saunders is here from England, from London, thereabouts, the outskirts of London. Good to see you. Steph Cuervo Queen is here. How you doing, Steph? Good to see you. Steph, do you have a TikTok? I'm curious. I don't know if I've added you. I started doing my daily one card draw a card of the day tarot over on TikTok. This was at Rainey's behest. She said, I think you should do this. And she came down and recorded a couple of them with me, and then I've been doing them every day. And I was looking to add friends that are friends of the show. And I don't know if I looked well enough. I didn't see you. So if you have a TikTok, let me know. Go find mine, Scotty Roberts. And that'd be cool. Everybody, if you're over there, if I haven't added you in, go take a look. So good morning, Randall Flagg. I see you over there. And I thought there were a couple of other people. I think I saw Antone Dabs. That's my friend Andy. I call him Andy. That's the diminutive of his official legal certifiable name. Oh, you have no contact. I have no contact. I think I added you. Oh, cool. It's good to know, Steph. Thank you. Let's see. Happy Sunday morning, says Susie Q. Good to see you. Cordia is here. In the sun, she says. Carlene Smith, welcome to the show. Good morning. Glad you're here. And so I started this little. I don't know what good TikTok does marketing wise, other than just it's like more PR. It's more getting out there what I do, and so I put it out there. So if you're on TikTok, go find me, Scotty Roberts, and you'll know me because I've got several videos up there now, just doing daily card readings. They're about a minute to 3 minutes long, something like that. Keith Ottersberg, good to see you, sir. Glad you're in here this morning. Stopped in for a few, he says, before I start PT with the puppers. Right on. All right. So happy cheers to you, Keith. Here, I haven't even had a sip of my coffee yet. I brought it down here. I sat down. I started things and hadn't taken a sip. Oh, that's good this morning. You know, I set the alarm on my phone, or the timer phone on my coffee pot, so it would be brewed when I woke up. And I messed something up. I always mess those things up. I did something wrong, and it wasn't brewed about 10 minutes before the show here, after I staggered upstairs and got myself together for the show and walked out in the kitchen. I should have checked that first. So it only brewed about a half a pot, and I just grabbed a cup anyway. So it wasn't fully brewed. I guess what's in the pot was fully brewed, but all the water hadn't gone through yet. So there you go. Yeah. So English, hard for me without a full cup of coffee in me yet. So I don't know what's going on in the political world right now. That's always a good thing to hit on Sunday, because I just haven't paid attention the last 2 days. I'm sure it hasn't changed a lot, but then again, it may have changed an awful lot. So what's going on? Let's see if I take a look at news headlines. Let's see what's going on this morning. We got After new U.S. strikes hitting Yemen, Iran issues a warning. Let's see what their warning is about suspected spy ships in the Mideast. So now they're trying to lay the groundwork to be able to bomb our ships that are in the Middle East for the sake of Israel. So Iran issued a warning on Sunday to the U.S. over potentially targeting 2 cargo ships in the Mideast, long suspected as serving as forwarding operating base for Iranian commandos, just after America and the United Kingdom launched a massive airstrike campaign against Yemen's Houthi rebels. And the statement from Iran on, so why is Iran involved? Hey, we struck Yemen. Why do they want to get all in with us? Because they're funding the Houthi rebels. That's why. All that stuff that's going on is being funded by Iran, which is a huge problem. So that's going on in the world this morning. And that was just this morning that came out. What else we got? Biden sweeps South Carolina Democratic primary with loser taunt at Trump, calling Trump a loser. That's interesting, isn't it? So, you know what I think about Biden? My wife had a pretty good take on this the other day. She looked at, there were some of the videos that are out that showed Biden in, I believe it was in South Carolina. He was in a little cafe and nobody was paying attention to him. It might have been Pennsylvania. I'm not sure where he was. And they had video of him sitting there, and there was a guy sitting in a booth, just a blue-collar looking type of guy. Guy didn't even pay attention to him. And Biden's trying to talk to him, and the guy just ignored him. And Rainey said, you know, that makes me feel bad for Joe Biden. And I said, why? She said, all the stuff that we have learned about him since he was a president, the corruption, the touchy-feely, sniffing hair stuff. She said we didn't know any of that about him before he was president, and all that kind of stuff gets said about every president anyway by the opposition, trying to make him look bad. They try to find stuff. She says, take that stuff and push it aside. She said, here's a guy that's in the office that obviously has mental decline. I don't know if it's Alzheimer's or if it's senility. Are those the same thing anymore? I don't know if Alzheimer's is the same as mental decline. But she said he is a guy, an old guy, think of it as your grandfather or something that has Alzheimer's. And nobody's paying attention to him. People are saying, fuck you, Biden, and all of this stuff. And here, Joe Biden probably, as Rainey was saying, he doesn't know what's really happening out there. He's got a bunch of handlers that are telling him when he has to get up, when he has to go to bed, when he has to take a nap, when he has to take his meds, when he has to go to the bathroom, where he's supposed to stand, what direction he's supposed to turn when he leaves a microphone, how to get up and down the stairs, and all this stuff is being done for him. Why? Because he is not in control of his faculties. And yet he's being the leader of the free world right now. And he's really not. It's his handlers that are the leaders of the free world. It is not, he's just the figurehead. And he's not even a good figurehead. He's just the one they've got, and they can't admit that he's declined, even though everybody knows it. It's like, is it a public secret or something? Everybody knows Joe is in decline. So Rainey's take was, here's a guy that doesn't really know what's going on, and he probably really does believe he's one of the greatest presidents that's come down the pike. Why? Because this is what his handlers are telling him. And so this is what he does. He goes out there. We have the greatest economy. Bidenomics is working. All of this stuff and this and you know what? It's all wrong, but he doesn't know that. He's not really aware of what the real facts are. He's not the one making any of the decisions. He's doing what is being told him to do. And even his wife, Jill, she has to take his hand to lead him away from the podium when he speaks. And then there was that shot, I mentioned this the other day, that shot where she takes his hand and she's smiling, they're both waving, takes his hand to lead him off stage. Just as they get past the curtain, you see them going back into the dark in the back. She lets go of his hand and takes off. And there he is. He's already back there because somebody else is going to take over from there. So everything about Joe Biden right now is somebody that does not have control of his faculties, is not in charge. And Rainey said, that almost makes me cry. She said, I see an old man who has people in a cafe that won't even say hello to him, won't pay attention to him, are pretty much saying, fuck off Biden. And he doesn't really know why. And so there you go. Look how he used his kids when his wife died. Sure. Absolutely, Steph. So all of this stuff, you don't know how much he's there and how much he's cognitive or cognizant of how much he's being used. But for him to get up there and say, call Trump a loser this morning, and that just kind of makes me chuckle. So we'll leave it at that. You can do what you want. While it says, while Biden faced little opposition in South Carolina, the vote is being closely watched amid concerns about his popularity, especially among Black voters. Now they're declaring themselves the winners in South Carolina of the Democrat part of the equation there, but nobody's opposing it. So how are you going to lose to nobody? So karma, says Steph. There it is. There it is. So by the way, my friend Antone Dabs, it looks like Anton. I always say it that way because I've always called him Andy for 20 years. Antone is his official name. He's hanging in the wings here, and I've got him over there on his camera up in Duluth, Minnesota. He's my friend Andy. As you know, I worked on a book for him last year, and now he has written his new book, and it's coming out, his new memoirs. And he's going through a lot of stuff of really branding what he's doing right now. And I want him to come on and talk to you all. So let's bring him in right now. Andy, if you're ready, here we go. Boom, there he is. Andy, how you doing this morning?
How do I get rid of all the echo on my end, Scotty?
Oh, headsets usually. If you've got sound playing through your computer, it's going to bounce back and into your mic. Okay. I can wait if you want to do that. If you've got a earbud or something like that, put your earbud in. So that's my friend Andy. Here, I'll just show you. You remember this book? This is the book I did with Andy about a year and a half ago. Last year that came out, 20 years from now. And we did this book. And now he has written his new memoirs. And that's coming out as a book called From Turmoil to Triumph. And that'll be coming out. We're going to talk with him just for a few minutes this morning. And he and I are going to do a big, long interview that we'll do for one of the shows coming up this week. And so let's see. Here we go. There he is. He's back. Let's give this a shot. Good morning, Andy.
Good morning.
Has that eliminated the echo?
I'm still having that issue. Still trying to. I got the headphones in, but I'm still hearing a delay.
Oh, that's
sorry, guys.
Weird. I don't know what to do about that. So it's delayed like by a second or something? It's confusing. I don't know why it's doing it. It's something in the sound settings.
Let's see if this helps.
All right.
I got it. We're all fixed. Sorry
All
about that,
right.
guys.
Fantastic. All right. Good, good, good. So how you doing this morning?
Doing great. Good morning, everyone.
How's the weather up there in Duluth, by the way? It's been so warm here, up into the 50s and everything. Duluth, you got the Lake Superior effect up on the North Shore there. What's it doing up in Duluth? It's
Still having an issue. I'll be back.
Okay. All right. It's given us an issue. Well, this is kind of a dry run anyway for doing our interview. So we'll be doing an interview this week sometime. I think you guys will be very interested in hearing what Andy has to say. His book is all about his struggles with anxiety his whole life. That's something a lot of people out there deal with. My wife has anxiety issues. And for Andy, they were almost debilitating. Well, they were debilitating. There were things he couldn't sleep. You know, he couldn't because his anxieties won't let him sleep, and his he couldn't function. The whole world was always closing in on him. Yet he is somebody that managed to conquer over that, even though he's still got it. He's found ways to manage it, and he talks about that a lot in his book. Oh, here he's back. Let's see. Let's try you again here, Andy. Is that any better?
Yes, I think I figured out. I had another window open. I had the YouTube
window
open, and that's what that was doing. So totally new to this, guys.
Sorry. I've done that doing the live show, and I start getting feedback, and I'm like, why am I getting feedback? I've got YouTube open. So there. Now you're in live stream. You're in StreamYard. So
yeah. No, this sounds great. I'm good now.
Josh Kemp says, I have very bad anxiety issues, sleep, social, etc. So, Andy, I was just giving people a little bit of background on you. You've got your new book coming out, which is From Turmoil to Triumph. That's releasing any day now. That'll be in his hands. And he's got a book release party for anybody that is local to the area or close enough. You can come up to Duluth on the 25th of this month, and he's going to have a book release party at one of the Wausau. Is that the name of the
Wusso's? WUSSO apostrophe S. Wusso's. It's a little cafe. We're going to have free drinks and food. That is February 25th at 3 p.m. 3 to 5. Right. So kind of short.
Fantastic. All right. Oh, I have a child joining me. Yes. Can I help you?
I have to show your radio.
Not right now. We're doing a little interview with Andy. So we'll do it another time, okay? You can come back a little later, okay, sweetheart? All right.
Not very nice.
What? It's not very nice?
That's not very nice.
That's not very nice of me to tell you to not interrupt the radio show with your slideshow. My children, that's the way they are, Andy. You know what they're like. How many times do you say, now don't just come in and barge into the radio show with something? Now, it's a good thing this is Sunday. Sunday's informal. We're not broadcasting on the radio. We're just podcasting, so to speak, on YouTube. So pardon the familial interruption there. But tell me something, Andy, and tell everybody else about anxiety. What the hell is anxiety?
I think it's a little different for everybody, but for me, it's my mind is always racing. And just so the audience knows, recently I was, yes, anxiety sucks a big one, Ryan. You are so correct. Recently I was diagnosed with autism just in the last 2 months. And I guess my anxiety stems, it's one of my things that I'm dealing with autism. I'm not an expert on autism. I'm still learning about autism, but I guess it's part of my autism is that, along with some other things I deal with. But I first realized I didn't realize it was anxiety, but looking back, I had it since I was probably where I can actually recognize it since I was about 9 years old. And even today, I'm medicated. February tomorrow, was it February 5th? February 5th. It's 2 years I've been on medication, guys. So I had a real low point where I had no choice but to get on medication, and it's been a game changer for me. It hasn't made it go away completely, but it's much more manageable. But anxiety to me is where my mind is racing. I can have panic attacks. I don't get those so much anymore. I can have anxiety attacks. Where I go through the day, I'll have that knot in my stomach and things just getting me all worked up over nothing. Where it's been the worst, though, is when I lay down to go to bed. I can literally lay there and hours and hours and hours go by and no sleep. And a lot of times, before I started medication, it was 3 nights in a row of no sleep. And I just hit a low point. My wife took me down to urgent care, and I met a doctor who was working there, and he was also he had his own practice and he specialized in anxiety, and he dealt with anxiety, and he was on the medication that he was prescribing me. One of my anxiety fears is medication. So I went all these years without taking medication because I was afraid of the medication for some reason, some sort of phobia. But man, Josh, I get it. That's me. And I have to stay away from the phone at night too. I can't like, if I start surfing the phone, then I just never. Oh, JP, neurodivergence. That's great.
That's Jason.
Yeah. So I thought that I had ADHD, Jason, and I went to have all this testing done in this mental health journey I've been on for the last couple of years, and I found out I didn't have ADHD. And if you ask anybody in my family, they would tell you I had ADHD until we got that diagnosis of autism, which I guess can mimic ADHD for quite a bit. And in that way, with me, it would act like ADHD, but it's all autism for me. So anxiety is just a fear of the unknown. A lot of times, I guess, a fear of the unknown. I can't really explain it. There's nothing really for me to get worked up about, but I would be freaking out anyway in my mind. My mind's just exploding.
What did you have to do with your medication? Carlene here says anxiety medication, I think she's saying, is horrible. I still struggle with that. Did it take a while to figure out what's going to work the best?
So I started with one called citalopram, which is the generic for Celexa. And I'm on 40 milligrams of that. I take that every single morning. And when I first started taking it, it was probably 2 months of like some side effects, but the side effects were nothing compared to what I was dealing with the anxiety. So it really did start working the same day. My doctor said I'm going to feel a kind of, when I first started taking it, like just a little bit of a calmness. And he was right. Within 2 days, I was feeling that, but it kept getting stronger and stronger as we went on. And I started at 20 milligrams and worked my way up to 40. But the side effects for me were if I got up, you ever get up, guys? I know you have, where you get up and you get up too fast, you get that lightheaded feeling. Well, this did that to me, and it did it really bad. I could get up slowly, and I'd whoa, I'm going to fall over. So I'd have to sit back down. That went away. That was one side effect that lasted a little bit longer than the rest. Some of the others were my brain felt a little scrambled from time to time. They would last only a minute or two. And that only happened maybe twice, 2-3 times. But the medication really, I don't have anything negative to say about it. I can tell you that recently I tried to go from 40 milligrams down to 20, and I don't know why I decided that was a good idea because I'm doing great on 40. But I thought I'd do that. And I got like my brain, everything felt really, really intense that day. It took the day. So one day I took 20, and then I took 20 the next day, and that day. So I was good for one day on 20, and then the second day on 20, everything was so intense in my brain. Everything I felt, I touched, I looked at, everything was like this really intense, and it was horrible. So I took another 20 that day at around noon, and then that went away, and I've been on 40 again this whole time. So I have a feeling if I ever want to go off this, I'm going to have to really taper it, not go from 40 to 20, but even smaller increments
Now-
go down. But I don't know why I ever would. I'm feeling great.
Now, slightly different. My ex-wife was manic depressive. There's another word for that. The not manic, the
Bipolar.
bipolar.
Yeah.
And she was on meds for that. And she would resist that all the time. I'm not going to take those. I don't want to be the diagnosed patient, she said. Why do I have to take medication to act right or to feel right or to do this and that? And it was interesting. My old pastor friend, which I talk about a lot, John Larson, I call him Parson Larson. And he told me and her both, he said, you know what? He says, sometimes the body or the brain just has a chemical imbalance. He says, it's kind of like you break a leg. What do? You go to the doctor and you have it mended. Or if you have a heart problem, or if you have some other kind of disorder that you've got to take meds for, epilepsy. A couple of people have mentioned that in the chat room this morning. So going in and in your own mind and saying, I have to take medication in order to be normal and not have this bother me. How did you struggle with that aspect of that? Because according to, like my pastor friend said, he says, sometimes you just have to do that and it gets you where you need to be. A chemical imbalance is just like any other thing that's not right that you treat, and you can get back to, pretty much trying to mend that.
Yeah. It was, I didn't want to be reliant on anything. I just didn't want that, but I took it, I hit rock bottom, and I love it. I'm reliant on food. I'm reliant on going to the bathroom every day. I'm reliant on these other things anyway. So what's the difference if I got to take an extra a pill a day? My whole family deals with anxiety. Maybe some of the listeners that deal with anxiety can relate to that. It's usually not just you. It's your, maybe a parent or both parents or a sibling or, children that you have deal with the same things that you're dealing with. But, my family's all on medication. I was the last one to get on it. And I fought for a long time. It really took me to hit rock bottom. And, I would consider a traumatic experience happened to me. Scotty knows quite a bit about it, with my cousin passing away. And it happened in such a way that, he was in a motorcycle accident, and I showed up on the scene, and it was very, very hard
you
for me.
On the scene. You weren't called. You just were supposed to meet him, and you happened on the scene. I remember that morning.
He was on his way to my house to meet up with my dad, get in the car, and then drive the 2.5 hours down to the Harley dealership where I was riding my Harley to, so they could pick me up and bring me back. And I right across the scene, and it was quite awful experience. And anyway, so what I did was, what happened with that is I go to bed, and I had a really hard time getting to sleep. I was actually okay for about a week after this happened, at least for sleep. But then all of a sudden, every night I'd have these nightmares where I was right back on the scene, and all those cops and state troopers and all the lights. And I can't tell you how realistic it was in the dream. I'd wake up and it really felt like I was on the scene. And then 3 nights of no sleep because of that. That's what got me on the medication. It was horrible. And it looks like Zoe's in. Did you see that, Scotty? Zoe's in here. Zoe is my daughter, for anybody that's interested. She says, "Go, Dad," on there. So that was really
Zoe,
cool.
you want to call in? You can call in and join us. Here, let me get, I'm going to copy a link. If you're sitting in the chat room, folks, and anybody wants to talk to Andy or talk to Zoe, boom, here it is. There's the link. You can call in. I'll see you come in. And
Zoe might not be able to come in. She's sneaking and messaging us while she's at work. So she might not.
Gotcha.
She's got a little second job where she might not be able to do that. But if anybody has any questions or would like to talk to me or answer, ask me some questions, please jump in and do it. I'd love to talk to anybody.
Guys, if you got comments or questions, or you want to talk to Andy a little bit, let's do that. And what is Steph here is saying? If I have to take anything, I look for holistic options. What about holistic options? What about Andy? I'm going to ask you this because I'm this way right now. I'm on so many medications. It that gives me anxiety. Just being on medications. I'm not an
Yeah.
anxious person. I tend to be pretty easygoing. I don't let things ruffle me too much. There are times, though, I have my moments. I have my nights, sleepless nights, but I don't have what you could prescribe, not prescribe, diagnose as anxiety. I'm pretty easygoing about all that stuff, but I think I wish I could just like diabetes. I have to take shots and meds, and it's like I want to get off that. And so because it's too many medications. I got to take shots 5 times a day. I got to take pills. Then I got heart. I got a handful of pills, 9 pills I got to take every morning for heart and everything else surrounding the
Yeah.
heart stuff. And it's like, am I doomed to take medications every day? What if I got shipwrecked on an island? Like, that's not going to happen anytime soon, but I've thought about it. What if I was in Egypt when I had my heart attack and my open heart surgery? I was supposed to be in Egypt that month and it didn't work out and I couldn't go. What if that had happened to me when we were out in the middle of the desert? And so that kind of stuff. Somebody tried to come in, they flashed, and then it disappeared. Whoever's trying, come on in. So, what about that whole thing of saying I can take care of my anxiety by, I can meditate, I can do
I
this.
tried all that. I did. I tried all that. And if it works for other people, that's great. I did some things and it alleviated it a little bit, but I never got rid of everything. So I meditate, I hike, I try to eat healthy. I tried some holistic approaches as far as medications like St. John's wort, which is known as something that helps for depression. But I know the same type of medicines you can take for depression seem to work for anxiety as well. So I tried that. It didn't help for me. And I tried different vitamins and different things. And again, a lot of this stuff kind of helped a little, but not to the extent that I needed. I was really bad. I was really bad. And this has been a game changer having this medication, but again, it did not remove all of it. It just made it more manageable. This is the best I've ever been as far as being able to manage it. I do sleep every night.
That's good. By the way, Zoe, I saw you flash in and then you disappeared. So it's either not letting you in. She said it's not working. You can try again and maybe it'll stick unless you can't do it right now. So Steph says, I'm too busy doing everything for everybody else. And I feel guilty when I put myself first. However, I'm working on that. And damn, I'm enjoying it. Andy has been somebody ever since I have known him. We became friends about 20 years ago. And Andy was, I don't mean to make this to diminish it. I want to say he was just a mechanic. Okay. So Andy was a mechanic, auto mechanic. And he was not satisfied just making paycheck to paycheck. And I knew Andy, maybe there were times that the paycheck wasn't always as good as he wanted it to be, didn't always cover. And he's like, there's got to be something better. And even before he got into his big business that he started, which I'll get to in a second, he was having me do things like, you remember Auto Nerds? He was trying to do something with that where we did a pair of glasses like this with the white tape on it for Auto Nerds and for an ad and a logo. And he was always trying to do something, make something work. And then he started working. I'll keep this simple because we'll cover this when we do the big interview. But he started a company called Lemon Squad, and I've talked to you all about Andy before. Lemon Squad was a company that would, to boil it down to its simplest terms, Andy would go out and inspect used cars for people who wanted to buy a used car. He'd do it for insurance companies and all that. And it started to be so much work, he had to hire other mechanics. And he'd say, we'll do this for X number of dollars per inspection. You call the website or call my number and we'll get a mechanic out to you. And he ended up in every city, in every state. If you had a car you wanted to buy, you could go to his website, sign up, and if there wasn't a mechanic he had in that area, he'd call and find one and get him out to you. And within 24 hours, and Andy built this business up from just doing it in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, then outstate Minnesota. Then he expanded to Wisconsin, the Dakotas, Iowa, and it got so big he couldn't do it himself. And he kept hiring these mechanics, and he ran this business really for years all by himself out of his house. I'll put it this way: out of his back bedroom, which was his office, and then it got so big that I won't give you exact figures. Andy can do that if he wants to, but be 3 summers ago now, I think it was. I was sitting at the table at Andy's house. As you all know, I would broadcast my show from up there. I'd be doing work for him. And he got off the phone and he said, well, he said, I just sold Lemon Squad and I am now a multimillionaire. And so it was like, so Andy has, through anxiety, through the things that would hold him up, apparently now finding out he's been autistic all this time, all these things that are debilitating things for people, Andy didn't let that debilitate him. He found ways to make himself work around that, take medication if he had to, meditate if he had to, do all the things, and he kept going. And now Andy is somebody who is really, pending apocalyptic destruction of the world. Andy is somebody who's probably set for life and doesn't have a care in the world, but he keeps going. And he keeps. I got to brag about one thing about you before I let you talk again, Andy. Up in Brainerd, Minnesota, where he lived about 3 hours north of here, he was up in Pequot Lakes. He built a skateboard shop. I remember him saying to me when he started that, I sold Lemon Squad and I got nothing to do. I'm working for them, but I got to start a business. I got to do something else. And he starts a skateboard shop of all things. Oh, I think I got Zoe. I see you, Zoe. I can't add you in yet. It says to add you. Maybe it's just your sound. We'll add you and see if you come in. But I've added her. I don't see her yet, though. So he started a skateboard shop. And she disappeared. It's fighting her today. So he and then he built right attached to it an indoor skateboard bowl. You know what those are, the indoor skateboarding, so you can do all your stuff. And I got pictures of it. We've got a video of that up on YouTube even. And so then last summer at some point, they decided they wanted to move to Duluth, about another hour and a half or so away. And so they moved up to Duluth and they sold the lake property. And I was going to ask him, I asked him, what's happened to the skateboard shop? You were over there every day. He says, you know what he did? Andy, I'm bragging on you because I respect this so much and I wish I could do this kind of thing. He gave the skateboard shop to the city. He donated it to the city so the city could use it municipally to have kids come in, and the city owns that shop now up in Brainerd. I mean,
yeah,
you put hundreds of thousands of dollars into creating something like that, and it was fantastic. I mean, it looked great. But then talk about the skateboard shop. What made you decide to go ahead and give that to the city? I'm curious.
So I skateboarded a little bit when I was younger, and I rode BMX bikes and stuff. And so I've always had a thing for that. But it was also, I felt like the city needed a safe haven for the kids, a place to go. So it wasn't like just a shop where you go and buy your stuff and leave. I had couches and video games, and
Yep.
It was just a safe place. They could come in, grab a water and just hang out. And, so that was the thing. So when I moved, I couldn't take that away from them. This has become a way of life for some of the people, some of the younger people, and some of the older people too, who are into it. So I just couldn't take it away. So, nobody had the money to buy it from me over there. It's not a thing, so either shut it down or give it away. And there's no way I was going to let it just shut down. So it's a thriving business over there right now. It's called Brainerd Skate Company, and it's doing well.
And it was a cool place.
Yeah. And
I'm
now the
looking
city
for a
is
picture of it right now while you're still talking about it.
and now the city is has donated some land that they're going to build an outdoor skate park. So that's been approved, and hopefully they get that soon over there. So that will add to the lifestyle and help the store and all that stuff too.
Very
So
cool.
it was fun. That was a labor of love for sure.
And
I just love helping
now,
people.
was that the plan with it from the beginning? Because I don't think you knew you were going to move to Duluth, but did you have in the back of your mind, I'm not going to be here forever. I'm going to build this thing, and maybe I'll just end up giving it to the city. I mean,
Yeah,
what was your
I
plan?
always knew I'd probably do that. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And folks, I got a picture I just saved. I'm going to bring this up because this gives you just a touch of a feeling. It's not the video or anything like that, but this gives you a bit of the feeling for what his place looked like and how Andy did things. And let me find it here. I just saved it right here. I'm going to open this up for you. This is the building. It's a little building in Brainerd that Andy had me do some designs, and then he had a designer do the outside of his building, the right colors. I don't know if you did all the color choices and all that yourself. Here you go. There's the building. This was Brainerd Skate Company, Skate Co. And so that gives you just an idea. Just look at I look at that, and it's inviting. And if you're a skateboarder, and all behind those windows on the right, just right with the black awning over them, that was the skateboard bowl is in there. And so it was pretty cool, I thought. So
it's a great looking building. It almost looks Photoshopped, doesn't it? But it's not.
It
That's
does.
what it looks like.
And it's not Photoshopped. This is just a shot I took of the building. And I took this to get the Brainerd water tower in the background.
Yeah, that's cool.
So this was just a picture off my phone, not Photoshopped. So I thought it was pretty darn cool. By the way, here's Josh Kemp is coming into the show. He might want to ask you some questions, Andy. Hey, Josh.
What's going on, guys?
How you doing?
Doing
Josh.
good. Hey, Andy. How's y'all day going?
We're doing good. It's 9:44 in the morning, and I'm fully caffeinated. I'm feeling good.
Andy's 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. up, and Andy is the guy who will call me every morning at like 10 minutes to 7. Hey, good morning. What you doing? So,
going through what you have said so far.
you two talk for a second. I'm going to go warm up my coffee. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
All right. So it started in my mid-teens with anxiety and stuff. I had a bad wreck when I was 16, stuff that screwed my head up with driving, and then got diagnosed with epilepsy, and then dealt with, I don't know if you've seen the footage, but the tornado that hit Tuscaloosa was 2011.
We're leveled the whole town.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was in that. My grandmother and five other people actually. There was 6 of us in the house, and we had to carry my grandmother out of that house, and that still haunts me to this day. I cannot sleep for you know what. That's my biggest thing now, and I think that just adds on to the anxiety that I have.
Oh yeah,
So,
sure, yeah. Anxiety is horrible. It's been a part of my life for as long as I can remember, pretty much. And but I look at it like this: it as bad as it is, and now I know I have autism too because I have some weird things I do. One of them is hyper, where I hyper focusing on a certain thing. If it wasn't for the anxiety and the hyper fixation, that's the actual term. If it wasn't for those things, I don't think I would have been able to do what I did with Lemon Squad. I started that with myself, and right now it's got about 10,000 employees. And I don't think I could have built that up to what it was if I wasn't so focused on what I need to get done, not letting anything get in the way of getting those things done, but then also so anxious that I was going to fail. And so it was horrible. It was horrible. Lots of stress. But if it wasn't for all that stuff, I probably couldn't have done what I did with that company. It was quite the
Understandable.
feat for me. You know, I don't have a college education for business. I'm just a greasy mechanic that had an idea and worked really hard, and it paid off.
Right. Well, that kind of sounds like what I was already kind of doing some weather stuff when that happened, but I've turned that I don't make no money off of it, but I got a group on Facebook that, I mean, that's all I do. I mean, because I don't sleep anyway, but I just straight up focus on that, and I put out warnings and forecast
So,
models and
you know,
stuff like
Andy is a
that.
good person to talk to if you want to figure out a good way to make a business run. I've got Ryan Gale here just as Anton. I always say Anton because I'm not used to calling you Anton. Because I've called him Andy for 20 years. Anton, any suggestions for others to make their own business be successful? And that's kind of what Josh, if I'm correct, that's kind of what you were talking about too. I got anxieties. I'm starting a business, or I've been working on this business. I didn't hear the whole thing you two were talking about because I ran upstairs to get coffee. But there is a question: how do you work through the anxiety stuff and do what you're doing? And Josh, do you want to stay on and have more questions, or I can let you go?
No, that's it, buddy. I was just
Okay,
wanting to put that in there. So
cool.
I'll
Very
listen.
nice to meet you,
And
Josh.
let's see if Andy gets to more stuff.
Yeah,
Thanks
nice to
for
meet
Hey,
you.
Ryan.
calling in, Josh.
Ryan, let me talk to you for a sec here on your question. So it's really tricky, you know. There's a lot of luck when it comes into having a successful business. You know, a lot of people have some great ideas and they don't ever get off the ground, but they have the potential to get really big. It's just timing and luck, but that's a hard question for me to answer without knowing more about the business. If it's an online type of thing, of course I'm a Trekkie. Yes, of course I'm a Trekkie.
Of course, this is
But
Russ, by the way. He's
I
the owner
was,
of the radio station and
oh my
the
gosh, yes, I love.
TrekFederation.com.
So, a good idea, knowing how to use the internet. So when I started my business, I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have any. That's why I was looking on uh, Craigslist and found Scotty. That's how Scotty and I got to know each other. I needed
20
somebody to
years
do
ago.
some work.
Yeah.
But knowing how to utilize the internet as best as you can to get the most out of it with no money, and I got to be pretty good with that, and still am. But a good idea, timing, luck, utilizing the internet. I don't know all types of businesses and what would make them the greatest, but I know internet-based businesses and what to make them work. If you ever want to get a hold of me and talk more about it, tell me more about your business. I don't know if it's up and running already or if it's something you want to get up and running. Reach out to me. I'll put all my contact info in to the chat thing before I leave, guys. So anybody, please join my I have a YouTube page now that I started a couple weeks ago. So I'm doing videos. It's got to do with mental health and business. And
let me put up the link for your while you're talking. I'll put up the link to your YouTube. He's got a lot of cool stuff up there. He's talking about the anxiety stuff. He's got that stuff up. But he also, and I love these because they're. I don't know what you guys think of this kind of thing. Sometimes just to be calm. I love. Oops, it started playing one of your videos here. I'm just looking for something to watch. And Andy, do you have an exact link for that? I go to get the link for your YouTube, and it has youtube.com/channel/ and 50 letters. Do you have it set up as Anton Dabs by any chance?
I think it's Anton _Dabs. I was just looking. Let's see.
Anton
here, maybe
_ Let me try that.
Look at that stuff I
Enough.
just sent to you through
Let's see.
our
Let me take a look. Okay, where are you? Where'd you send that to me?
through this what is this thing called that we're on StreamYard
Oh,
messaging?
on StreamYard. Did it go into the chat room? Oh,
Yeah.
the private messages here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's a big long. Oh, there's all your links. Let's go with. I wanted to grab. You know what, folks? Let's grab his YouTube here. There it is. I'm gonna copy that link. Copy, and I'm gonna paste it in. If you want to go see his videos. Oh, I started saying he's got these hiking videos. He goes on hikes in the North Woods up in Minnesota on off Lake Superior. You can go take a look at that right there. There is his link to get in. It's got an @ symbol in there, which is weird. They started using the @ symbols over there in the address, but you can go there and see that. There is a ton of his links. I'm going to copy them all right now and just put it in one post here. If there's anywhere you want to see anything about Andy, he's got it covered right here with all these links. I don't think they're active links that you can click on in the window, but you can copy them and paste them over. And so, well, what happens if I click on one of those? Oh, I see. It's just putting it into the window. So there you go. There's a bunch of those. You can go take a look at his stuff. Go look at his YouTube channel. And you can see more about him, what he does. His business videos are on there. And they're shorts. It's not like, oh, I got to sit for 40 minutes and listen to somebody drone on about business. No, he's got short entrepreneurial clips, last a minute or two. And then he's got his longer ones, which are kind of cool. Just his hiking, and you're out in the woods with him. He's got a head camera on. So
I'm pretty new to this YouTube thing, guys. I've only been doing it a couple weeks, so please
yeah,
don't be too harsh on me. I'm getting more comfortable with it, but it's been a little bit of
and
growing.
Andy is somebody that's not used to talking on camera, and he's getting used to that. And he's doing that. He was not comfortable with it. I think some of his anxiety was built up about that too. And
sure.
so he's learning the ropes on that and everything he's doing. So anybody else, you got anything you want to talk to Andy about? Otherwise, if Andy, if you want to stick around and just talk, otherwise we'll wait until we do the bigger interview.
Let's do that. I'm going to dip out. Unless anybody's got a question for me, I'm going to dip out.
All right.
All right. I'm good.
All right. Well, Andy,
thanks for having me.
Coming on, and we'll see you sometime later. We'll do probably a pre-record of an interview with Andy, and we'll play it. We'll be present in the chat room, but we'll do a pre-record, and maybe he'll stay up late one night and join us in the captain's cabin at 10 o'clock after the show. So we'll see what's going on. All right, everybody. Andy, thanks for being here, brother.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. All right, guys. That was Andy Dabbs, my friend and client. So that makes it kind of fun. And it's nice because when he calls, he's a client. When he calls, I can be more personal with him. Meaning, if I've got to run a kid to a dental appointment or something, I go, hey, I can't do that. I got to run the kid to the dentist today. Don't normally say that kind of stuff to clients. So Andy's a friend, so that's made it easy to work with us together sometimes because we know each other well enough. So let's see. Elderberry said, no, I was teasing about going after Wendy, Steph. That's a non sequitur. I just saw that and I threw that up. So, hey, Wendy, by the way, if you're out there, you've got a Wicked Women today, don't you? I want you to come on and promote that a little bit. That'll be at 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central. That would be 2 o'clock Pacific time. And of course, that's 10 p.m. London, England time. So if you're out there, see you, Zoe. That's Andy's daughter. She's, I want to say she's 21. I'm not positive of that. Maybe 20. Maybe 22. somewhere in there. Good to have you too, Zoe. Sorry we couldn't get you on. So, anyway, got a floor done yesterday, says Elderberry. Procrastinated for 3 years. Yeah, we got our floors done, our wood floors upstairs. We put those in. We still haven't done the hallway. It's still got the soundboard paper down, and laundry gets piled on it, and kids' junk all over it and stuff like that. One of these days, very soon, I got to stop procrastinating and get that done. So, it's just like I'm getting comments on some things. All right, that has nothing to do with the show. Sorry about that. So, how's everybody doing? JP, you out there? You want to talk? You want to pick up the slack for me here today because I'm a slacker. Anybody else want to talk? I got nothing in particular to talk. You know me. I could just go and keep talking, but there is. If you guys want to call in, I'll give you a minute. So Andy, I've known him for, like I said, 20 years, and it's been very cool. He's been good to me, and as a client, this is the thing about Andy. I noticed he's a very, very giving person. For somebody to have made it big, and by big I mean he made it. I got KB. Hey, here's KB.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, it's a beautiful Sunday morning. Doing okay, Scotty. Like I said, I'm here with Scotty. Enjoyed Sunday mornings around the table, and I like it if Scotty can talk, and anybody else can come on and join Scotty. Like I said, it's always good to see Scotty on here on a Sunday morning around the table. I don't know if you've seen the footage.
Absolutely, I'm getting a little feedback from somewhere. Oh,
I was too, Scotty. I was too. I was no little feedback. Maybe it'll stop here.
Here we'll get JP in here too.
There you go.
So look at that. We got SR, KB, and JP. Get all my.
Oh no! Where did Anton go?
Anton's gone.
Okay,
he's gone this morning. We're gonna do an interview with him this week sometime. And
cool. I was coming on to just hang out with a fellow neurodivergent for a little while. We tend to gravitate towards each other. Yeah. If you look at friends groups with like ADHD kids, other neurodivergent, we kind of end up revolving in each other's, oh goodness.
Jason, how many ADHD kids does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Want to go ride bikes?
Let's go ride bikes.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like there's probably some people out there who would get offended by it, but I lean into it. And one of the things that I was kind of going to say is that people who have autism or ADHD or other neurodivergencies or things like that, it can be very overwhelming. It can be discouraging, things like that, because you have that sense of why can't I be normal? Everybody else can be successful at things. Why can't I? All kinds of things like that. And one of the things that's kind of always helped me through the years is to try to remember out that, that there's a lot of people out there who have been very impactful upon society and on like global type scales that, now as we look at their behaviors and we look back into history, we look at their habits, their behaviors, the way they did things, it's especially easier when, you could get people on film and you could do, recorded interviews or things like that. Once you started being able to do that, it became, you have a good body of data to work with to make some, I don't want to say scientific wild ass guess, but I also don't want to say assumptions. And I definitely wouldn't want to say a diagnosis, but a high probability of things. So, and one of the ones I love to lean into, Winston Churchill. If you look at all of his behaviors, how he responded to people, his habits, how he did everything, there's a lot of stuff there that suggests that Winston Churchill was actually ADHD.
Oh,
And it's like, look, Winston Churchill can be part of the crew that literally saves the world from fascism and
Yes.
imperialism. The sky's really the limit. You just got to figure out how to work around it. And I've also figured out, for me anyway, one of the things that really helps me is if I understand how something works, I can manage it.
yeah. Yeah.
And because with ADHD, you do have comorbidities and things like that, of anxiety, of depression, etc. And I've dealt with my own struggles with that. And so it's, once I understood what was going on, it's one of those things where I can be like, okay, all right, so we're having an issue with dopamine production or dopamine uptake, or whatever. And all right, that's what's going on here. So kind of,
I think, by the way,
the spinning wheel.
and people will notice this about you.
Oh God.
And probably about me. I deny that I have ADHD. My wife insists I do. What? Squirrel? Yeah. Because I've got 100 different things I want to do at once. But people who can talk the way JP does, or me, or other people that just talk and talk and talk and talk, and you can go nonstop.
And
That's
transition
usually
subjects
an
like
ADHD
mid-sentence and keep up.
Rocky and I, we did
Scotty,
radio.
when did ADHD come into effect? My generation, and I was
last 10
when I was,
years.
there was no such thing as the ADHD when I was coming up.
When we
And all
were
of a
kids,
sudden, in
didn't even know what
the
that
70s and 80s, they started talking about ADHD, and all of a sudden, all the kids now are medicated. All the kids are medicated. I can't think of anybody when I was growing up that was medicated and had ADHD.
Well,
Ritalin. They put them on Ritalin.
On that note, here's one of the things, like the factor into things, or something to consider is look at the lifestyles of humanity.
Well,
when you were a kid, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of things going on, and
we got ass whoopings.
Well, it's not about ass whoopings.
Well,
Okay,
it's not that. But I mean, look at this generation. I mean, look, they don't show no respect to their parents. They show no respect to authority. The whole 9 yards. I mean, they have no respect for anybody.
That's not necessarily or inherently an ADHD thing or a neuro.
I think it is. I think it is.
That's a societal thing. Okay, and I will tell you that uncontrolled ADHD, or uncontrolled, unmitigated, will cause problems. They found that there's a lot of people who have, criminal activity, repeat offenders, nothing major, but when you look at the impulsivity control and things like that, right? So take the ass whooping thing out of it. All right. And I understand that, believe me, I got my own as a kid, for, dumb stuff that I did, whether it was a physical ass whooping or a verbal ass whooping, or it was, taking away of privileges, or something that some sort of punishment was involved that actually hurt.
Grounded. We were always
right.
Grounded.
But if you also look at how active are kids today versus how active kids were when you were a kid, right? So a lot of stuff can be mitigated actually through intense physical exertion. All right. Your body can naturally self-regulate through intense physical, regular intense physical exertion. So lifting weights, running, playing basketball, playing baseball, playing football, doing all the things that are associated with training that stuff. And it also adds a level of structure and discipline, right? Today, it's a video game generation, man. The Atari came on the scene in the 70s, late 70s, and then Famicom, Nintendo in the very early 80s, at least here in the States, and you start seeing, shifts, and I'm probably overgeneralizing a little bit. It's fun to have a culprit you can point a finger at, but we lead very, very different lifestyles today as compared to when you were a child. You know, I look at my dad. Okay,
Way
my
back
dad.
when you were a child riding your brontosaurus.
Maybe not that far back. All right, come on. I you know, but like I look at my dad. All right, my dad. If you look at some of the things and how he does things and how how his brain works with things, what he worries about, how he worries about, but yet you also look at the immense amount of control and discipline that are there, right? The man played sports his entire childhood. All right. He set track records in high school. He constantly played basketball and baseball. He worked farms. He did all kinds of that kind of stuff. And then he went to West Point after high school. All right. And after a 26-year military career. So you have structure that was placed in there and you learn to adapt to it. And it's one of those things where it's like, if he had, and he'll say this day, he's like, if I hadn't played sports, if I didn't have such a love for playing sports and a fear of not being able to, because there's the consequences thing you're talking about, it's a factor. I'm not saying it's not a factor at all. I'm saying it is a factor. But you look at the lifestyle he led, if he had been sitting today doing, not having all of those things to do, he'd be a very different person. Like we all look at him and be like, yeah, he's probably got it. I look at my mom and like, yeah, she probably got it. But you know what? She does the 500 club in real estate and things like that. She's been doing successful real estate since, good God, 86. Like it's manageable and it's controllable, and you got to look at the environments we are growing up in today, that our generation is growing up in today. I think that plays a huge factor in why you see a much more recent and recent's relevant explosion, if you will, of ADHD and other neurodivergencies. There weren't things in check in society, in our very culture and how we did things that mitigated a lot of those things. So,
by the way, I just read something here that while you were talking, I was paying attention with one ear.
Oh, it's okay. I'm used to talking with nobody listening. So
just looking where to go next. I had called up a thing where a guy put up something about how many ADHD kids does it take to screw in a light bulb, and there were 1,000 answers. But
yeah,
he had put this up. Now I read this and I go, this is me. So I'm probably ADHD. Listen to this. He's talking.
Well, it takes a little more than reading a comic, but yeah, or a joke.
He's answering the question: how many ADHD people does it take to screw in a light bulb? And he says, 1, to take the spent light bulb out, then find a way to dispose of it properly. Wouldn't want to just put it in the trash, right? Do you do your research to find out how to do that? Then realize it's far too much work and just put it into the trash bag. Then, because it's glass, you want to take the trash out so it's not dangerous, but make sure the bag is more full to maximize that efficiency. So throw out a bunch of other stuff. You go around the house and grab all the little trash bags everywhere, stuff them in, that you've been meaning to do too. Then put a new bag back in the can. Then go get the new light bulb, but realize it's not with the other light bulbs. So create a new spot for all of the light bulbs in the house, clear out a cabinet, clean it, put all the new light bulbs in that place. You go, this is now the place for the new light bulbs. That way, next time a light bulb is needed, they're all in the same place. Then put the light bulbs on a shopping list that will be lost between now and the next shopping trip, so it's not forgotten.
Yes.
And after all of that, you finally get around to, did I ever replace the light bulb? And so you go find the light bulb and hopefully not get distracted before you go screw it in.
And that's absolutely true. Like
that's what
I will do very similar things, but one of the things that I have developed, because as you age, your brain chemistry changes and things change, and in life, which then you create your new neural pathways and behaviors because of, exposure to things or new life lessons that, like, well, I'm not doing that again, and it sticks there. I get overwhelmed and I will shut down. I will hit a point where I'll be doing all of that, and then I will get overwhelmed and I will shut down. My brain is just like,
okay, I'm
nope.
done.
And it's like, I don't know, pressure release valve, or it's a, the brain's overheating. We need to shut down. Sorry.
I find it hard to believe that you were shut down. I really do. I find that almost impossible that you were shut down. What type of medication do you take for your ADHD? Are you on medication? And do you feel like it works and it changes you mentally, or what?
So at the moment, I'm actually not. And I did that very, very purposefully, because up until right around Christmas time, I was actually looking at trying to get my warrant reinstated and go back into the Army. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to, even though I was, diagnosed in the Army and was had the meds in the Army and things like that. Selection processes and things like that can get stringent at times, and it's like, well, I don't want to do anything. I want to set myself up to make it as easy to go back in as possible. And typically, like, if you're enlisting, you can't have been on any of that for within a year of you trying to go back in. So now, was there any kind of thing like that when I was talking with recruiters and talking with user rec and things like that it came up? No, but I was like, you know what? It is better to take care of it and make sure that if I go in there and they're going through all the stuff for them processing and they ask me that question, I can sit there and I can answer honestly. Yeah. And, but one of the things for me, so the meds work. I have noticed a difference, when I've been on them, when I've been off them. But one of the things that kind of happens with me is I eventually start developing some of the side effects. I may not have them.
What kind of side effects do you get? Like, is it embarrassing? I mean, is it like
some of it's sometimes
like,
dealing with stuff
won't go away for 5 hours, but
or
that's the other drug,
or having issues with maintaining, or things like that. Because what
I didn't mean to drag that out of you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I was just trying to think of how do I explain this? But
please don't squeeze the shaman. That's all.
Say again.
Just tell them, don't squeeze the shaman. You'll be all right.
Don't squeeze the shaman. Oh, by the way, Rudy, I don't know if you're still there. Said you were going to go 2 minutes ago. Yes, I've got something for you to look at pretty soon here. So probably tomorrow we'll talk about that. If you're still there and you heard that.
Yeah, but I would have issues because you're dealing with brain chemistry.
Sure.
Right. And and I have been on sertraline, which is Zoloft, and that they give me that to help offset sometimes the anxiety that can come from taking something like Adderall, which is an amphetamine salt. So you're taking a stimulant, right? And so when you take stimulants, you can develop anxiety or, comorbidity and things like that. So I've been in periods where it's been.
What's that other word you used about morbidity?
Comorbidity.
What is comorbidity?
So that would be like ailments or issues that coincide or come along with or present also with something. It got really popular in usage when they started doing the whole COVID thing. Is when you really started hearing a lot of it in the regular, conversational world. But, but like I've had issues with the Zoloft where, I couldn't, wasn't in the mood.
Yeah.
Wasn't whatever, because
it's a mood altering drug.
You're impacting your levels of brain chemistry, brain chemistry levels, the ability for the brain to either produce or, do what they call reuptake, right? SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, things like that. And so you can have these, side effects. And for me, I knew that I was probably the Zoloft for me was not working anymore, where I kind of got to this point where I didn't care. And not like didn't care, but like, whatever.
I know
Like,
what you mean.
yeah, I had no motivation. There wasn't even like the littlest hint of a fire under my ass to get things done at work or in life. It's like, whatever. And that's just because brain chemistry changes and what's going on. This wasn't doing anything for me, or it was too much.
Right.
And
I like what Elderberry said. He said doctors like to practice medicine on kids. I now believe that. Yeah, I mean, I think doctors do that. They have a tendency of giving kids medications. Medicate them. He's bouncing off the walls in the house. We got to slow him down. So they're medicating. They're slow him down.
Here's one of the things that's going to bother me with that statement. All right, a couple of things. One, when I was dealing with ADHD kind of things and looking at that sort of stuff when I was a kid, right? I literally had a doctor tell my mother he just needs his ass beat. All right, so not all doctors are like that. I have a huge problem with and it kind of applies to just about anything, the over generalized, broad sweeping, one fell swoop, I am saying without making any kind of differentiation between anything, that doctors do this, or politicians do this, or the guys walking down the street do this, right? Throw some in there, because you know what? And yeah, I've only been kicking on this planet for 41 years, so I don't hold a candle to either of you guys. But I have seen I have been through a lot. And the fact of the matter is there's tons of good people out there who are trying to do the right thing and desperately want to do the right thing. And then you're going to have the bad apples. And I think it's a really big problem when we overgeneralize.
Yes. And, Elderberry, I don't disagree with some of what you're saying. But I will say that there are things I've gone through that I know what you mean. Maybe you're using a play on the word practice. I don't want a doctor practicing on me either. I want him knowing what the hell he's talking about when he works on me. But I'm alive today because of doctors. And so I'm okay with that. Yeah. I don't agree with everything a doctor does. I look at my wife has been trying to get things taken care of with some of the stuff that's going haywire with her. And she's frustrated as hell because everybody just tells her, well, it's just in your mind. You should go home. And
that is a problem. And that's kind of a problem that it becomes inherent with how our system and all of its amazing capabilities. There are kind of inherent problems that have cropped up within the medical system. In fact, that a doctor only gets an average of 15 minutes with a patient. There's not enough troop to task. Like, we don't got enough doctors to be able to handle the volume of people going in, to be able to get the really dialed in care. But that's a sad and unfortunate thing. So if anybody randomly out there is listening, just trying to figure out what do you want to do with your life, maybe be a doctor. I don't know. We need to pump those numbers up. Get the resource available so that you can have more than just 15 minutes tops with a doctor.
And by the way, Morgan Snow, she says her daughter was diagnosed with ADHD when she was about 10, and her meds just made her sick, so they stopped taking them.
That's actually one of the things I want to talk about.
Same for everybody.
That's one of the things I want to talk about. When you go into something, once you've finally figured out what's going on, you have to make a commitment to if it is something that is negatively impacting your life. Okay, you have to make a commitment and understand that, hey, one way or the other, whether it's through medication, whether it's through, discipline regimens that you've created for yourself that helps you manage it, exercising regularly, only eating certain kinds of foods, whatever it is, because food types can really mess things up.
Sure.
But you got to be willing to, okay, I'm gonna get this under management. This isn't working. You have to be willing to look your doctor in the eye and say, hey, this isn't working. I don't know how to spell it any plainer to you so that you can understand the words coming out of my mouth, but this isn't working. We need to try something different. And understand that it's a process. There are things that you can do. There's a genetic test that can be done that can tell you how your body metabolizes different kinds of medicines. Some insurance companies will cover it, some won't. I know on its own, it's pricey. But it'll tell you if your body metabolizes properly or efficiently or effectively certain kinds of medications, and in that it typically has stuff about your typical ADHD meds, meds for depression, etc. And so if you're in a position to be able to do something like that through your doc, check that out and see what comes back off of that, and then be like, okay, let's try going in this direction with this, because every drug interacts differently with your brain in terms of how it gets things to either produce more or not necessarily produce more, but prevent reuptake of certain neurotransmitter chemicals. So that way you're operating at a normal level, not necessarily increasing production of something, but it's slowing down the reuptake. So it stays at more normal levels, or consistent levels. But you have to be willing to try stuff. And if you have a doctor that's like, nah, fire your doctor.
Yep.
Go into the fist fight, knockout, drag out, dirty back alley bar fight with broken bottles with your insurance company or your medical provider or whatever you got to do to get with somebody who will listen to what you have to say and is willing to explore these things.
Yes.
I mean, like, straight up, people have to learn to not be afraid of confronting certain elements of the system, because it's very easy for us to do, where we just get into this is how it is, yes. Okay, and no, stand up for yourself.
Right.
Kick down the door, say fuck you, no, and find somebody who works for you.
Yep.
You know. And now Wendy's here to weigh in and tell me how wrong I am on everything.
I'd never do that, you fibber.
You're right. You would politely message me afterwards.
I don't even do that. Come on, I don't even do that, do I? I'm so not
often.
Did you hear that though? They think Winston Churchill had ADHD. You cheeky Brits.
Well, if he did, we kept it quiet because we don't want you to know.
And then there you go.
I already do know. What are you talking about?
When I was a young man, I never had AD.
Never.
I don't even know what I heard your friend talking about his health issues and anxiety and everything, and I was just like, wow, it's really interesting. And then I was listening to young whippersnapper there in the corner.
Thank you.
He just disappeared.
Oh, that's you're talking about me.
So I thought, because I can relate to everything you guys are talking about, because obviously I have, health and conditions, and over the years I've been pumped full of a lot of wrong drugs. When I first had chronic fatigue, they put a lot of experimental drugs, which didn't always have the best effects, and then because I have one autoimmune disorder, it's gone from one to another. So I have underactive thyroid, I have Hashimoto's like Raini has. I have inappropriate sinus tachycardia. and other such conditions, and they all interact. And over the years, what I've learned to do is listen to my body, and not always be pumped full of medication and stuff. But I mean, if you have thyroid issues, you're going to need it. You're going to need to take something for that. Although in England they try really hard not to give you it. My sister is struggling for them to give her thyroxine because they just, they won't unless you come.
Levothyroxine. So levothyroxine.
Yeah.
I don't have Hashimoto's.
That's right. Yeah, it's the same drug. But over here they won't give it to you until literally you are 100%. If you're borderline or anything similar. So like, I felt really ill before I went on.
Sounds like a VA.
Please give it to me. Oh no, you're not. So I think it's really important to find a really good first of all, find a really good doctor that believes you, because first of all, they don't believe you half the time. It's all to do with money and how much it's going to cost. Secondly is to find a good consultant. If you can find a good consultant, and in the UK it's not that, we have to wait for it. And then thirdly is like take care of your body best you can, as in food, diet, be careful, your stress levels and stuff like that. But I know the hardest thing for me was getting someone to believe that I was actually ill. That was the hardest thing, because if your blood work doesn't show it,
about taking care of yourself?
It just has
now there is a nutritious breakfast.
If your doctor doesn't believe you and your blood tests show my blood tests were always negative, and they were like, well, we can see
checking for the antibodies.
We can see that you're ill, but we don't actually know what's wrong with you. And in the end, I got to a point after 9 times going up to casualty and A&E, you just feel like I want to sit in front of a bus on the road, because they just don't believe me. And I started this journey at 17 when I had mono. You guys call it mono, but we call it glandular fever, and that's how it went from down there. So when I talk to Raini, I can understand where she's coming from, because we've had
the doctors, they don't have all of this stuff. Hashimoto's, ADHD, all of these things are in that nebulous where doctors can't put their finger on it exactly, so they're guessing.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, and they guess at the meds, and they guess at the treatment.
Are you hiding, Jason?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So my mom has Hashimoto's, right? My mom has Hashimoto's.
Yeah.
It took her forever for them to figure out what was going on.
Totally.
The doctors will sit there and they'll run the TSH tests, because that's the gold standard for thyroidism and hypothyroidism and all that.
Right.
They don't naturally, or they're not naturally inclined, or it's not part of protocol to look for the antibodies that are associated with Hashimoto's, because Hashimoto's is an autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
And what's great for me is okay, maybe it's not great for me, but I use the hell out of the VA. Okay, can I get my own medical insurance stuff at a deeply discounted government rate because I'm a government employee and all that? Yes. But I kind of also look at it like, you took 11 years out of my ass. I'm getting every dime out of it.
I don't blame you.
And so that's my primary care. Plus, I've had very good experiences with the VA for the most part.
I think that I was listening to Scotty, because I was listening to what you take a day and what they put in your body, and I could feel your frustration about I don't want to take all this stuff, I really don't want to take it all. And how do you feel like? I mean, I know you sounded frustrated, but it's like, do you feel like 100% you need to take all of them? How have they made? How do you feel without them?
You talking to me or Jason?
To you, Scotty.
It's here. I noticed.
There's days I forget. I got this pill box right here.
Yeah.
Sits on my desk. Like here, I'll just show you. Because I haven't taken them yet this morning. Oh, that's not even there it is. Okay. Now, this is just just for the morning, and I don't even have them all in there. I'm missing some, so I got to take, now like there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them in there.
Yeah.
One of them is my levothyroxine.
Sends me.
I got metformin in there. I got carvedilol in there. I've got Jardiance in there. I've got something else, losartan in there. So I got all those I have to take, heart and all of that. Some days I forget. Yesterday I totally forgot to take my meds.
Yeah.
Now, I don't feel bad during the day, but I think if I stop taking them for a long enough period of time, all of these drugs have been in my system for 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, 7 years since the heart surgery. I've been on this stuff. And so what would happen if I just stopped taking them? I know levothyroxine for thyroid stuff. They say you stop taking that. Tomorrow, take 2 if you miss today.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they say.
No, not here. Like if you miss one, then take it as soon as you remember, and tomorrow just take it normal time.
They told me to take 2 to make up my endocrinologist. He told me to take 2 to make up.
And what strength are you on, Scotty?
I don't even know. I should know that. I don't know. I got this, I got my bag. I don't know.
I'm on 25, and they said to me, like, it actually says on the box, if you forget it, take it as soon as you remember, and tomorrow just take your normal tablet at the normal time.
Frankly, I don't know what it does for me. I don't know what would I be like if I wasn't.
Do you have an underactive thyroid, or do you have Hashimoto's?
I don't have Hashimoto's.
Because Hashimoto's is where your immune system eats away at your thyroid. But when you have an underactive thyroid, it means it slows down. It's not working properly. And even so, it just
hypo versus hyper.
You got overhyper.
They're already talking to Raini about
too much
the possibility of thyroid cancer.
Yeah.
For Raini, and they're already talking about taking out half her thyroid.
I'm not hiding anymore.
You're what?
I'm not hiding anymore.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Jason slinks onto wicked women now. He's kind of like this. Hello.
I'm afraid of starting fights. I got to do better about that. I'm sorry.
No, he just like you get to be in his bonnet and he's away, and then you're like, and here is Jason, and he's off. He's just like he's gone, and
I've got an info dump. I got to get it all out.
And nobody hates you whatsoever. Nobody thinks, oh God, it's Jason, whatever like that. And you are eye candy. And I said that to you before, and you're like, no, I'm not.
Wait, who's saying he's eye candy?
Well, because the girls, like when he comes on looking the full Monty.
You are the only eye candy here.
They go, they say, oh, look, the eye candy's come. I mean, Michael obviously looks great. I have to say, Michael looks great when he comes on. He looks fabulous. But Jason, sometimes when he's got the full Monty going, it's like, well, hello.
Whoa. I'm not getting naked on camera. That's what the full Monty means.
Wait, what are we missing here?
No. I don't want any misconceptions.
Nobody's doing the full Monty. You know what I mean? When you dress the part, you look great. You really do.
I guess I clean up okay.
And he's like, oh, I don't think they like me. I was like, everybody likes you, Jason. It's just that sometimes you go off on one and we're like, and breathe and zen.
It's hard to get zen sometimes with certain topics.
I know. Well, today should be a good one though, because you might be okay. But I mean,
don't know. I've had my first cup of coffee. We'll see where we're at after I get through a couple of more.
Like we're talking about Groundhog today, just bringing this on. I didn't mean to like I was talking about health, but it's like we know what it's like to literally, when is our life going to change? When is this pattern going to change? When am I going to get that career break? When is my relationship going to prove? And feeling like you're constantly on that hamster wheel of I can't get off. And that's certainly how I feel certainly in my life right now. And I think Scotty feels like that in.
Yeah, I long for the days where I don't have to take meds for anything, and I don't think I'll ever have those again, unless
they'll come one day.
He's back.
It will come, believe me. Believe me, one day you will not take nothing. I'm just saying. Don't kill the messenger. I'm just saying.
Why you gotta be morbid like that, man? This wasn't a dark show, and then you said that.
Ken, do you know it? So he comes on so different. He goes, that's how Ken comes on, right? I see him in the corner box, and he's like, he just knows that I can see him, and I'm waiting to press that button to bring him on.
Yeah, I mean, one day it will happen. None of us will be taking no type of medication, me included.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
No, I think about that. The apocalypse. What would I do if I didn't have my diabetic meds and shots that I had to take every day? I experience that sometimes because, believe it or not, for having done it for almost 20 years, I still have days where I forget to take a shot. And I'll check my blood sugar and it's high, or sometimes it's normal. And I'm like, I didn't take any shots today and my blood sugar's normal. Does that mean I can regulate it by diet?
Do you know, that's the thing that really frightens me about getting diabetes, because it runs in the family in my dad's side. And he's on the medication for it, but I've had a lot of kidney issues in the last year. And although they're checking me for everything like that, I'm terrified, because they said to me, well, you know, you've got autoimmune disorders. One more goes to one more, one goes to one more. And you think, oh my God, no, please don't give me that. KB's in the house.
So I have a question. And this goes kind of back to earlier discussion with neurodivergency things and stuff like that. But are you guys familiar with body doubling? You probably are, Wendy.
As a medical,
of course I am.
Well, you have the background. No, you by profession and education, you have the background. Jeez, old pair. You know what? Oh God! Sometimes you guys.
Sometimes I just want to leave here.
But I can't. No.
But he's addicted and comes back more.
Now, by body doubling, what are you talking about? I know of body doubles.
With
like
body doubling,
like sex stunt people.
No, not stunt cocks. The body doubling in terms of having another person there engaged in some sort of similar activity, which, because of proximity and exposure to the behavior, a person will, and typically neurodivergence will kind of align with that other person's behavior. So if you are, with somebody who's studying and you need to study, it is easier to switch gears into studying because you have a body double that you can body double off of them. For me, and this has been a huge challenge for me, and this is more embarrassing probably than the earlier part of talking about what the meds can do. For me, it is very challenging to keep up on the daily normal regimens of life in terms of maintaining a home and things like that without having somebody there as a forcing function, as a body double to do things. And so basically since 2016 or so, I've been on my own. I haven't had like a live-in girlfriend or, a wife, whatever.
All the women just went, yes. Go on.
I'm trying to be serious. But it's what, hold on.
All right.
Okay. So it's very difficult for me to maintain things because it's easy to slip into my sense of being overwhelmed and then shutting down, like I was talking about earlier. So I was just kind of curious if anybody else out there has similar issues or finds a similar effect by having a partner or a friend or colleague that body doubles with you during tasks.
well, I have to say, in all my experience of having ill health and ill problems, I've had very bad luck of having anyone that wants to do a body double and do anything. It's kind of like you're on your own, and it seems that
Alone and unafraid.
a lot of eyes glaze. A lot of eyes glaze over, and they go, "Oh, you're ill again. You got problems again. Oh, it's playing up again." Is it? They don't want, and this is why I find if you find someone who is sympathetic and is empathic and wants to be there for you, then grab hold of them, because they're a rare breed. Because most people, and I'm speaking, I mean, I've had ill health since 17, and I'm now in my 40s.
Yes.
And literally,
it's okay to admit that.
And literally, I got to the point where it's like, I don't even want to tell them when I meet someone. I don't even want to tell them there's something wrong with me. I don't even want to tell them that I have any health conditions, because they don't want to take that on. They only want to take on the bubbly, vivacious Wendy that you guys made me see.
You don't. That's not the thing you normally talk about on a first date anyway.
No,
I'm serious with somebody.
I like springing it on them like a surprise, you know.
Like, well, they kind of don't know. Like, most men are kind of oblivious to things, and they go, "What?" And you go,
Raini, when we first started getting serious 18 years ago, 17 years ago, I said, you know what? I said, I got to share something with you. I said, you're 20 years younger than I am. You've never had kids. I've got 3 kids, but I said, my 3 kids are all accidents. I said, because I'm not supposed to be able to father kids. My twins happened at the same time because I was on medication, I think.
If any of you are listening, accidents isn't a bad thing. He meant this unplanned. All right. He loves you very much. Don't get any ideas.
That's right. And my son's.
I got you, brother.
It was 9 years of. And I will say this about my ex-wife. I've talked about this before, tongue in cheek. My ex-wife was a nutcase, still is. She was also an alcoholic. She was also incredibly over-the-top sexual, almost to the point of, you would say, we say this term, we use this term lightly.
Nymphomaniac.
Yes. I mean, she could.
I like how she has to lean into the microphone to say that.
I'm quite. I mean,
on the floor and do me.
Where's the men that are like that? That's all I got.
All to say, we had the twins, and then we had 9 years together of that kind of sexual behavior, and no birth control, no nothing, and it took 9 years for my son to come along. So, and that was during the divorce, my son came along. So all that to say, I said to Raini, when we're getting serious, when do you start revealing those problems? I said, look, I said, the likelihood of me being able to give you children is probably very slim to none. I said, you've got to think about that. I said, you're a younger woman than me. You've never had children. I said, is this what you want? You may not have children. And of course, what do you do when you're in love and all that? The magic of young love. It's like, oh, I don't care. It's all right. We're good. And lo and behold, within 2 years, became the first. And then 2 shortly followed after. Now we got 3. So now I got 6. But so.
I'm not sure I can count that high.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's nymphomania anyway.
Jason, there's the key. Unless you're Satan.
Scotty, what's nymphomania? Because I've yet to meet a man like that. I mean, seriously. I mean,
meet a man like what?
Who's got nymphomania? I mean, where are these men?
So is it that you haven't met any men that aren't like that, or is it that society, because how we look at things, typically, let's face it, men, you listen to how things are talked about today. Not only are men bastards, but we're also just interested in sex. That's all we want and care about, and da. So maybe
we've only got
the entirety of manhood, the male species, part of the species, maybe we're all nymphomaniacs, but it's just societally accepted.
Well, maybe.
Ooh, it's quietly nymphomaniacs. You mean, is that what you're saying? Like,
You know, and this goes into a lot of the little shows that I've done. I say little shows, not my main topics, but
I don't think that that's the case, by the way.
and the things that Wendy and I talk about on Roberts and Robertson.
Yeah, we do.
These are all topic, and what you're talking about on Wicked Women. These
Yeah.
are all the different societal effects on human sexuality that we talk about. And why do men lie all the time? Why? What's wrong with friends with benefits?
Why are men just horrible, dirty liar, hornballs,
Yeah.
and women aren't responsible for anything?
That's not true. Women get bad reps as well, because I hear, obviously I have a lot of guy friends, and they tell me about their relationships and their women.
I just
And
love
it's like,
stirring up
oh
shit.
my God, shit. Listen, I have a guy right now who's a friend, and he was with a girl for 18 months. She had some issues and et cetera, et cetera. He tried everything he could. She's got a bit of an issue with the alcohol, and literally she messages all his friends on a regular basis on Facebook and slates us and calls us different names and everything. And it's just like, there are some nightmares of women out there.
See, Morgan Snow, thank you for that comment.
Date a woman with borderline personality disorder.
Got out of that was writing.
But I know some guys that turn and go, "What, you want it again? I only gave it to you like half an hour ago." And in my history of my lifetime, you know, a few decades, you go, "Well, it would be nice." And they go, There are some men like that as well. And that's what Scotty and I were talking about on Tuesday with lust.
Look,
you know,
you can't be too hard up on. Okay, how do I? No, you can't be too rough on us. You can't be too judgmental. There we go. Finally got around to a word that couldn't be used as a double entendre.
Judgmental.
You know, there's a reason why men roll over and fall asleep. Okay, after it not only is it a neurochemistry, you know, brain dump that happens in the release, but it actually takes a lot of physical energy. And I'm not even talking, you know, the act. All right.
Fighting?
Yes, fight.
You know, well, here's the
what
thing.
I'm talking about is the actual production of everything that comes from that takes an exorbitant amount of energy.
I'm with you, Sandra. I'm with you. I mean, I think, but I have to think.
Up in the morning for it.
Look, I'm going to stick up for all the guys out there that like only do it once a night, all right? Because they're not here to defend themselves.
And I'm sticking up for the women because I think British women, and don't shoot the messenger here, but British women are very different. And I lived in Canada for 2 years, so I do have, and I've got lots of American, Canadian friends. We are very different. We're all, our culture is very different.
We like it before tea.
And I do think the British women are slightly more, how can I put this nicely? Blunt and naughty.
Naughty.
Put it in plain English. Just say what's on your mind. I mean, put it out there.
Yeah.
You don't have to
I'm not going any further than that. But I just think us British women, we have a way of, I mean, look at our history, Carry On films, you know, and all that kind of stuff. There's always the boobs out and Benny Hill with women in very, Sandra probably like come on and write and whatever, but we are very blunt and we can be very naughty. And when I was in Canada, I was very taken back by how, in some ways, politically correct, and you can't say this and you can't do that and you can't react to this, and you know, and I was like, "What, you can't say this?" And I had a few Canadian gentlemen say, "Oh, we wish our women were more like, you know, that." And then obviously I know some lovely American women who are just like the British women, as I do Canadian. But I think in general the cultures are very, very different.
Well, I think that you're absolutely right.
We'll go into
the cultural difference does play into a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so just speaking from the American experience, right? I don't know what goes on in our trucker cap. They stop saying sorry, the war crimes start. So I don't know enough about that, but it's a lot of bald heads. Yeah. But on the American side of things, look at where society started from with the people that were coming here from the British Isles and things like that, and colonizing things, especially up in, the Northeast and things like that, puritanical societies, which had very, very, very strict thoughts on, those kinds of things. And so, like, some of that has just continued to carry forward in how we look at things and how we do things and how we process things. It is changed over time, but you still have this base of, no, we can't do that. Burn that at the witch. Hold on, let me go get a scarlet letter and sew it to the front of your dress.
That's very true, because that women did suffer. I mean, women, and Scotty and I were talking about this in one of our shows in the 50s and etc. like that. Women didn't have that voice as much, and if we liked sex, God heaven forbid. Now, Scotty and I have been asked before to do a late night Robertson and do it, which is more naughty. We've been asked.
I'll tell you what.
Smoky
I'm
ambient.
so happy. I'm so happy. Yes. I'm so happy right now that the Speedo King is not watching, because when y'all start talking about the
Speedo King,
he gets extremely confused. I mean, he does. He gets extremely confused. So I'm just glad and thankful that he's not listening to y'all this morning.
Well, see, when I'm over there in the spring,
which means it's
Wendy and I will do some live late night shows.
Because I have to get up extremely early to actually do this show. I have to get up sort of like 4 or 5 in the morning, literally go to sleep and get some sleep and then wake up and do it, because there are things that we'd like to tackle and we've never done it, and from a man or woman thing, and we thought, like, we should do this, we should do some late nights because it would be really good. And also Wicked Women have been talking about the idea of doing Wicked Women XXX, which means we too are later on as well, with more subjects for the ladies perhaps, but it's but I'd love to do that, because I actually think there are so many people out there that have issues, and there's only so much we can cover in the timelines that we are. And I think I'm doing the first one with Scotty, because I'm not going out there doing it on my own. Unless Scotty, I've got to go in first with
I'll
Scotty.
lead you. Take my hand.
Because there are some people out there that would just really perv on it, and there are some people out there that would just really want the info, because and Scott and I were talking about it
Welcome to the internet.
ED, erectile dysfunction, that's a really big cause of a lot of stresses in a lot of relationships, right?
But take Scotty's hand. He's going to lead you to the land of pleasure. So make sure you take 2 out of Scotty's hand.
Punishment? Is that what he said?
The land of pleasure. I do. That's Scotty. I mean, you couldn't take Jerry's hand because he'd be lost, and y'all be walking in circles. But take Scotty's hand. He'll take you to the land of pleasure. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I think it'd just be a once a month thing, right? It wouldn't be a regular thing, because if the time difference is just too much. But I'll be like this.
That would be perfect. That would be perfect for Scotty.
It's got to start 2 or 3 times a week, and then trail off to maybe twice a month, and then once a month. We'll just follow the.
Scotty, you got to look at it like this. You got to look at it like this, Scotty. Once a month, you should be happy. Okay.
Yes, dear.
Well, I think if Scotty does it at midnight, then that will be is that 4 or 5
a.m. your time?
So that works out perfectly.
For you.
That works out.
That's like morning sex for you.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously the same with Wicked Women. We'd come in later at midnight my time, and at 6 o'clock in the morning. And
hold on, if you give me a sec, I'm gonna go try to hang a picture over the back of a commode in the bathroom, and then slip and fall and hit my head. If I do that, I should come up with the idea for the flux capacitor.
Yeah. You should.
I'll find a DeLorean. We'll be able to make this show. Not everybody's tired.
Or a TARDIS. If you find a TARDIS. But the thing is, like, we want to do a positive thing.
The TARDIS will send me off to wherever. There's no predictability except for predictably unpredictable with the TARDIS. And
I think it's important.
Bigger on the inside.
People want this, not because they want to perv over it, because people have actually asked Scotty and I, will you cover this subject? Because
Mhm.
and you can't cover a lot of it on YouTube at certain times because and or at least you have to give some warning. And also with my time, I'm going to be doing. I need to get up about 4 o'clock in the morning to be
You have to
ready.
do it under the covers on YouTube.
But I can
Coffee
keep
and Rippets.
Yeah.
Rippets. If you can find cans of Rippet, that
Rip it.
fueled an entire GWAT generation to be able to wage war at all hours of the day.
Wendy,
Rippets.
you normally wake up around 5 to 6.
I do. So it's like I think what I do is I would just go to bed fully dressed
But
and
is
everything.
there then a difference of
Makeup and
this
everything
is
on.
late night? You've been up all day. It's late night. We're doing the late night thing. But you get up first thing in the morning. You're like, I'm doing the first thing in the morning thing.
Yeah, I think so, and I think we should do that. I think we should definitely do that, and I think maybe we should do it once a month, like late with Robertson. And I think Wicked Women is going to will be Wicked Women XXX, and it will come in once a month, and it's something we've got to obviously talk with the other ladies and get them all. I know Val's on board. I'm on board. I just got to see if Kay, etc., is around.
All right, fine. I'm on board just to sit there and apparently be eye candy or whatever it is.
Yeah, you can be the eye candy. Hey, frankly, I got to tell you, I've been watching Masters of the Sky. That's and I really enjoy
Masters
it.
of the Air.
We'll have to talk. We'll have to do a show about that. And folks, if you're not familiar, it's on Apple TV. It's a Spielberg, Tom Hanks production.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks isn't in it. He's one of the producers of World War II, based in England. The Americans flying
100 bombers,
fortresses and bombing raids and all. It's about the guys, Masters of the Sky. And every time I watch that now, I think of Jason because of his past photos where he did the dress up of World War II. I was saying last night watching that, I said, I need to get myself one of those.
I need to see that.
Okay, hold on.
World War II. Oh yeah, you should see.
Scotty, I forgot to tell you the other day. I was in Covent Garden, and they had some shops down there that you would have loved. They had all kinds of men's hats and all kinds of style of hats. It was fabulous, and I thought of you and of Jason.
Nice.
I thought you guys would have loved that Covent Garden.
So I just recently got this. The ones in those photos that you're talking about, Scotty.
Yeah. You're clean shaven, so you look more
clean shaven, yeah, obviously, and it's they're a much less quality hat. I just recently got this from a guy who makes reproductions of the old Bancroft Flighter.
Nice.
Which could be rolled up and put into a pocket. So you could take and put your headset over it.
They throw it in the pocket.
And I took off the War Department crest, the eagle with the. Yep. I took that off and I put the warrant officer branch crest on it because I was a warrant officer in the Army, and our insignia has been that since like 1921 or something like that. But anyways, I put that on so it doesn't look exactly the same, but.
See, then you got to cock it off to the right. There you go.
Looks cool.
It's fairly new, so it hasn't crushed in well.
Sorry.
But there's I got this from a gentleman. Yes. Let me hang on. I will get you the name of the company. And what's really cool is this guy he's actually currently serving, and he does this on the side. It's called Society Brand Hat Company.
Nice.
Let me just look it up. Society.
Yeah, Society
Hat Company. Is that his website link?
If you do a search for it, it should pull it up.
Brand Hat Company. There it is.
Yeah, and so they are not cheap.
Facebook page.
Yeah, they're not cheap, but they are completely hand built. And they're basically built to spec of the old Bancroft Flighter. He's even been able to reproduce the Bancroft uniform.
Oh, he's got pictures from Masters of the Sky on his Facebook.
Yeah,
Go to
Yeah.
Society Brand Hat Company on Facebook, folks, and you'll see this.
He produces them, and like he doesn't have a full up factory kind of thing going on, so he doesn't have them always in stock. But he's starting to take orders again, and as soon as I saw it, as soon as I saw it pop up, I was like, "Oh snap!" Because I'd been watching his stuff for a while.
Nice.
He's like, "Hey, I got to shut down for a while, guys." And then as soon as he popped back up, like 2 weekends ago, I was like, "Holy crap, he's making them again!" So I had to jump on.
Well, listen, we are at 11 o'clock, and I have things I have to do with the family today, so we got to call it quits. So I need Wendy give a little plug real quick for Wicked Women.
I just wanted to tell you the name of that shop is called Laird, Laird, Laird Hatters. Have a look at it.
Laird Hatters. I'll look them up.
Wicked Women. Yes, we will be here tonight at 10 o'clock UK time and 3 o'clock Mountain, and then I get confused. I think it's 4 o'clock Central and 5 o'clock Eastern.
Yep.
And we're talking about Groundhog Day today. When your life is trapped, you feel stuck, you're fed up with your relationship, you're fed up with your life, you want to move everything on. What do? Etc. So we're doing that tonight. We'll be there. The lovely Val will be there, and few other ladies are gonna be there as well. And I hope to see all of you there. I know Jason won't let me down. He never has.
I may not be, all dressed up or to the nines or anything.
Maybe doing the.
But he'll be there, and Scotty and Ken. Obviously, I know Ken will somehow be lurking around somewhere because
I will try to be there. It's really tough for me on Sunday afternoons because I do.
But Val and I will be there, so we look forward to
radio during the week. So
and I'll be back on Tuesday with my podcaster hubby.
That's right, my podcast wifey will be back for Robertson on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. London.
Yeah,
I can't do that. I just look foolish. So I don't dance well. I look like a ton of bricks trying to dance.
Just do like the truffle shuffle off of Goonies.
There it is.
Tuesday's a good day because I get to work with Scotty. I get to do stuff with Scotty. It's always fun.
Absolutely. That's the best day of the week.
See, just remember that when you watch it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the best day of the week is Tuesday.
There it is.
Ryan.
And I will be back Monday, Wednesday, Friday with Intrepid Radio. So we covered Tuesday. We covered tonight. We covered Intrepid Radio. There we go. Yep. There's your week, folks. Be sure.
And Ken, don't forget Ken's show on each weekday.
That's it. Ken's show every morning.
And Val's show on
9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central is when I catch them. And that would be Morning Coffee with KB.
Val's show on Saturday. Val was back yesterday. She did really, really well. So Myths, Legends,
was on, and I wasn't able to tune her in, but I saw.
See you later, Jason.
Bye, Wendy.
See, this little circle of friends right here, we have no end to being able to plug in somewhere radio-wise.
We're a team. We're a team.
We're a special group of individuals.
We are a network, is what we are. We are an.
Yeah, we get on. Sod anyone else, right?
we just need to make it a network because we're already an unofficial.
Well, I think we should start our own radio. Let's be honest. I think we should because
we'll talk to Russ about it. Let's get
Russ have rules
all in under.
That could be fun.
Odyssey.
That could be fun.
Jason, you can bring in the pizza and look gorgeous.
Yes, you could bring in the pizza and look gorgeous. Just wear that military hat.
Just wear the uniform, please.
I just want to see you in that and nothing else at all.
I can send you pictures.
My day just got made.
Don't be so coy.
I'm just saying.
That's right. That's right. Wendy, we got to get you one of those hats.
Oh, do you know, Jason's still waiting for my measurements. I like to keep a man waiting. You know me, Scotty. I like to keep him waiting. But I mean, Jason's been waiting for them for a while. So
Well, I'll be completely honest. You're going to have plenty of time to wait because now I'm going to be making you wait because I'm going through the whole move process and pack up thing.
That's all right. I'll just be hanging around waiting.
Well, Jason, you're just going to have to go over there and get the measurements yourself.
Come on down, Jason. Come on.
Let me go pay a few grand in flights and
A
hotels
little
and
knock
other
at the
things.
door.
Listen,
And
it
Jason
won't.
is
Just
doing
to get a
his
cloth
measurements.
measuring tape around someone's head. Yeah.
It doesn't cost that much. It's about £600 for a flight, and I'll even
It's
put you
not
up on
bad.
the sofa
It's not
for
bad right
free.
now, Jason.
So
There's a sofa.
600 quid. 600 quid off. That
600
works
quid.
out for what? Like 800 US.
And there's even a sofa and a put-up bed. So look, you don't even have to pay out.
I will in a month. Maybe in a month we'll get that.
Duly noted.
Jay, look at Ken's face. What?
Here, before we go, I'm going to look right now from, where are you? North Dakota.
Yeah. No, Jesus.
North
See,
Dakota.
Jason,
to
it's all
London.
leaving on a jet
Let's just see.
plane.
London
We've got a
fares-
flame out on the number
London
4
fares
engine.
just dropped. The 2024 cheapest offers. Let's just see what they're saying here. Oh my God. That's actually pretty good. UK, $329.
Okay, hold on. Where does that originate from, though?
I'm looking at ASAP tickets. Now that might be it's a round trip from, let's see, what's your airport?
That would be GFK.
GSK.
Golf. Yeah. Okay, you got it.
To GS is in Scott, right? And to what's London? Heathrow.
Well, you've got Gatwick or Heathrow.
What's the better one to fly into?
He'd probably come into Heathrow, I'd imagine.
Let's go Heathrow.
Hi,
London, United
Jay.
Kingdom. Let's go. Let's see if he's just coming to get your measurements. Lucky devil.
Hi,
Let's
Jay.
put him in on
So many
leaving
double
on the
entendres.
15th, and you're coming back on the you're leaving on the 19th or coming back on the 15th and the 19th. Let's see. One ticket round trip economy traveler one. Get a free quote and once an
I'll
email.
even throw in an extra pillow.
Throw mine in. There we go. Get a free quote. Well, what am I missing? What's GSK? What's another? Is it G? God Scott King?
Yeah,
Golf,
you want
Fox,
Oh,
Kilo.
GFK. Grand Forks Mark. Okay.
get my diary out.
Let's see what we got. Oh, it's going to call me.
It's
Oh,
gonna
great. I
call.
just set myself up for phone ads now. Well, it says right here in the UK. You see, it's already calling me in the other room.
The ladies of
past that.
London will not know what to do with themselves. It's
Anyway,
on
just
our
to say,
soil.
flights are not that bad. When
They're
I
not.
went to England, we flew into London back in 2005. 2005, $550.
How's it go? What's the matter,
Right
Jason?
now, you might be around $600 round trip.
Chicken?
I, unlike Marty McFly,
Are you
don't
chicken?
care if anybody calls me yellow.
Oh, Penny's fine.
Great Scott, are you chicken? I mean,
Great Scott! This is heavy, man.
hands up, all the ladies of England that would like to see Jason.
There
Hear
you go.
them going up already.
I
Just tell them
am
all he's
sure it's
coming
a short
with
lift.
He's coming with his tape measure.
Jason's come to England with his tape measure in his hands. Hands up, all ladies who want you to take
What'd you say,
want
Jason? Come.
measurements.
come
They'll
in
be like,
England?
me, Jason, mine. Oh, you mean my hat measurement? Oh,
They'll all be. Imagine all the women standing in the airport with signs.
Jason, JP,
Jason,
we're here for you, JP.
It'll be like the
What
Beatles.
does the JP stand for?
The Beatles is the first thing that came to mind. Screaming women. There you
The
go.
thing
Oh,
is,
so it'd be the
Jason
Great
couldn't
American
cope.
Invasion.
He could not cope with us. He couldn't cope. He'd be like, stay back.
There it is.
Would he
There
be
it
in his element? He would be in his element.
I'd
He'd be
be.
like, ladies.
Thank you.
I'd probably be like, oh, look, there's a ferry to Ireland. I'm just gonna go ahead and hop on that and
No,
go
no,
across the Irish
You have-
Sea.
You have
Good
to
go.
come to the mother country first.
Gonna go. The mother country.
No. See, Jason. It would be,
How'd
we'd
you
be
know I was
walking-
Scots Irish?
You walk through the airport and you go, oh, hello. Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, Jason be there. We'd have a little sign up going, we're here, Jay. We're
They're
here,
calling me
JT.
again.
Honestly, if you don't,
and then nobody finds me because I'm just hanging out in the duty free, hiding,
no
That's right.
excuses. It's too expensive.
peering over the stacks of bottles of whiskey.
No.
Okay, this has been the long goodbye. I got to get out of here. All right, you guys.
All right.
Wendy, love you. Maybe
Love
see
you
you
too.
later today. If not, I'll talk to you soon.
See you later.
Be good, y'all.
Jason, good to see you, brother.
As always. Likewise.
Have a fun day. Everybody else, thank you for being here. Thanks for being part of the show. And we will see you again tomorrow night. Get over to Wendy's show at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. London time. And that's it. We'll see you later. Live long and prosper.